Okay, hi, Digital Design 3 class. I'm going to go over one more time how to download characters from Mixamo and animations from Mixamo and import them into your project. It's fairly simple, but there are a few steps you must follow to make it correct. Okay, so I'm on Mixamo right now, and I'm under, if you see here, characters, and we also have animations. We're going to download the animations separately from the character. So we'll first choose a character. This is one I already have selected and downloaded into my project. So let's see, I think I'll take Eli. We'll take Eli, why not? So I'm going to switch over here. Give it a second. Okay, let's refresh my page because my poor page is, okay, there we have Eli. Okay, now we want to download Eli. So in order to do this for Unity, when we click download, first you need to know that they're all FBX files, which is fine, but we want the FBX for Unity right here selected, and we want our character to be in a T pose for Unity to recognize it. So I'm going to go ahead and download it, and it's downloading onto my desktop right now. I'm going to save it. Okay, now right away I've created some folders here that I have set up. Here's my character folder and my FBX animation folders. So I'm going to drag and drop this, but you know what? I like to change the name right away too, so that I know exactly who my character is. I don't need all this extra stuff. I can have just Eli. I'm going to drag and drop it into my character folder, and I'm going to go back to Mixamo. Okay, so now in Mixamo, I'm done with my character. He's already downloaded, and then we'll talk about importing in a minute. Let's go to some animations for Eli. Okay, we have lots of things here. I'm going to give him like a run animation because I'm going to have him running in the background. So I'm going to look at some run animations. I'll have him sprinting at a fast run. How about this? Usually it'll show a preview here, but for some reason in my computer today it's having issues. So if I refresh it, maybe it should show. Let's refresh it. And we want to have fast running. Okay, so we do have some problems here with him running like this, and we don't want him to be running like this. This is a thing called root motion. We want him to be running in place, so we want to make sure that he is running like this because we're going to animate his movement using the timeline. So we want him to run like this. Okay, so now I'm going to download this. Now in this section with skin means that we want him to look like Eli. That means we're going to download with Eli, but we're not going to do that because we already downloaded Eli, so we're going to do it without skin. Okay, we are not going to reduce keyframes. This helps save memory on your computer. However, it can make your animation look less accurate. So I'm going to go ahead and download this setting, this one, and I'm going to put it on my desktop and then into my folder. Okay. All right, here it is. It's a fast run. I'm going to rename it fast run and then Eli so I can understand my, make sure that I match it with my right character that I want. I'm going to put it into my FBX animation file. Okay, so now I have my project here and I want to put it into my project. And I can drag and drop these things directly into my project. I already have a folder called character animation set up for this scene. And I want to go into my characters and I'm going to drag and drop him, Eli, into here. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to choose Eli and I'm going to drag him into my folder here. And now you can see Eli's in here. Okay, while we have Eli in here, let's go ahead and set him up. You can see if you use this drop down button, we have a lot of things here with him. In fact, it did import an animation, which we don't really need to use unless I don't know what animation that is, but we'll just leave it there for now. We can check it as soon as we go through our settings. So if I look over here in my inspector and I click on Eli, you can see down here in my preview, he has no color. There's nothing going on with him because we have to do a few things. So the model is like, how was this imported? Most of these you can leave from Mixamo on default, so we don't really have to change it. His scale factor is 1, but basically he's still a standard 1.7 meters in here. And that's fine because we don't really need to convert it because Mixamo, when it uploads, they upload things there. They usually do it at a 1.7 meters. Okay, next we go to rig, and this is all of his bones and everything that we need to show. Now it has a default always on generic, and this is usually for creatures, simple creatures or four-legged creatures. But when we have any kind of a human person, we need to drop this down and say humanoid. Now we can create it from this model, or we can create it from another model that we already have in our scene or something. This helps to save memory on your computer and optimize your computer. But for today, I'm just going to say, go ahead and create from this model, and I'm going to hit apply. Okay, so now his rig is completed. Now there is an animation in here, but it's not doing anything. It's blank. So I'm going to uncheck import animation, because I don't want to import that animation. And you can see over here in my project, it took the animation out. Now I'm going to go to materials. Now we need to make sure that Eli's materials are here on him. So we need his textures and his materials. Textures are like just that. They're like, how does the light hit something? Like where are the meshes on his mesh, how is it decorated? So it's like all his clothing and stuff like this. So we need to extract these textures. I'm going to extract textures. I already, under my character, if you see down here in my project, I've created a folder for materials and textures. So since I'm exporting materials, I'm going to put it into my materials folder and choose this. Okay. And we have a warning here that says the material being used using this texture as a normal map. The texture must be marked as a normal map in the import settings. So basically what they're doing is they're name changing, and we're going to go ahead and say fix now. Okay, so we see that he's pretty much set there, but let's go ahead and extract our materials as well, because you never know when you might want to use your materials separately. So what this does, you can see here from a previous character that I downloaded the materials. I'm going to go ahead and download, extract all of his materials separately here as well, because if we have any problems later, we can always put them back on. So now we've got him pretty much complete, and all we need to do is add animations. So let's go ahead and just double check that he's okay. I did this by creating a scene called character setup. If I switch over to this, and you can see here it's just a blank world, and I'm going to take Eli, the main Eli here, and I'm just going to drag and drop him in here, and he's already at 0, 0, 0. So if I double click him, I should be able to focus in on him, and I can just take a look at him to make sure that he is exactly the way that I want him. All his textures and everything are there. So that's the only reason that I set this up in here, is so I don't mess up my world when I'm putting him in there. Okay, I can do this with each of my characters that I'm downloading, and then just delete it from here if I want. So I'm going to go now and set up my animations. So I'm going to go and drag and drop my animation into my animation folder. So first I'm going to open up my animations, my FBX animations that I already have some in here. And I'm going to do this so I can show you how to set up your animations here. So in my animation, I have the Eli Run Fast animation, and I'm going to drag it directly into my project folder for animations. And you can see he's here. Okay, this is here. But in order to use it, we need to do some setup. So we need to click on Fast Run Eli. And here again, we have all the import settings. We have the model, which we don't really have a model. As you can see, there's no preview here. And then we have rig. So how is it going to be rigged onto what? What is this animation being rigged onto? Once again, we need to switch this from generic to humanoid because this is a humanoid animation. And we can create from this model, but we don't have a model here. So I'm going to switch it to the Eli avatar. And I can choose that now that I said from other avatar. Here's the source. I can choose it here. And I'm going to go to Eli. Here's Eli. I'm going to double click it and put Eli in here and then click apply. Okay, now I'm going to go to animation. And now that I've applied this animation to the Eli model, you can see in my preview here that I have Eli. And if I push play, we can see what he's doing. He's running very fast. Now, we can actually speed this up to run faster or slow it down. Okay, we have a few settings in here we can adjust if we want to. There's a couple of settings that I like to do. This has made my animation, just say Mixamo.com. And when I'm looking for it through all my animations, it's really difficult to find it. So I'm going to call it Eli Fast Run. Okay, enter. So now it's changed this animation clip to Eli Fast Run. If I wanted him to run away, I could actually, where it says route transform, I could do this and adjust all these things where they actually like run forward. But because I imported him standing still, I actually want him standing still because we're going to go ahead and put his run into our animation. So we're going to have two animations. We're going to have an animation of our character moving and then while they're moving doing this animation. Okay, let me click this down. I do see that he's not quite running straight in a straight line, and I can adjust this if I want to. Let me click apply here. Let's see if that fixes it. Yep, sure it did. He's now running straight. So having him run straight is perfect. We want him to run along this line. Sometimes you can get your animations will veer one way or the other, and they can be adjusted in here by doing offsets up here, your offsets. Okay. Right now we have this set towards body orientation. So where is his route going? Route is like the base, the bottom. Where is he running to and from? And we have it set to body orientation, which is perfect. This is the route transform, which is whether or not he's moving across or standing still while he's running. And because we brought it in under the original, we had him standing still, then he is going to be standing still in the original. Okay. So all this is great. Everything's set up now, and we can actually apply this to our Eli character into our animations now. All right, so that's it for importing animations and your characters from Mixamo into your project. And in the next video, I will demonstrate how you can animate your characters using timeline and then with Cinemachine shots.